People who like their job. What do you do? I think up and draw cartoons. Every day. A syndicated comic for newspaper. Only learned to draw at age 43. So it's been a cool midlife turn. I'm one of those handful of people trying to be at least a fraction of what Gary Larson was/is. Oh wow, you have just made my day. I just started taking drawing lessons at age 48. Would love to somehow make it into a kid's book. I have the ideas and the characters, just need to draw them. All the best to you. Matt Painter for film. It's fun and lives at the intersection between having to have artistic talent and technical experience. Honestly, sometimes it can be maddening as I come from a creative background, traditional illustration and sculpture. So certain programs are like going from speaking French to speaking Chinese. Well, all in all, it's fun to see your work when it's composited into film and get to see the shots before any VFX goes in. Frankly, it's surprising just how many movies use VFX, and I assure you it's almost everything you've seen, including smaller independent films. I make replicas of dinosaur fossils for museum display. The company I work for does full-size replicas, but I primarily work in the division that creates teeth and claw replicas, and a few scaled-down skull replicas for gift shops. I'm a night shift worker at a manufacturing facility. I love being able to set all my machines, read a book, or play on my 3DS, and be by myself. Once all my machines are set, I just need to change finish parts for new blanks every 15 to 20 minutes. I work at a grocery store. I love my coworkers, we're tight. My managers are really helpful and understanding, and I guess I just like working. I've done a lot of volunteering before this, so now that I'm doing things for others but getting paid, it's pretty wild. Also, my coworkers are so fun. Did I mention them? Waste management. I drive garbage trucks. I start early, but there are days I'm off at noon. A full 8 hours for me ends at 1:30, and I work 5 minutes from my house. I'm in the AC all day and left alone. It's wonderful. My boys used to worship Mr. Ed, the man who picked up our trash each week. He even let one of them push the crusher button as a birthday gift once. Dude is a legend in our house. I'm a locomotive engineer. It's badass controlling thousands of horsepowers and tons all with my hands. I love running with the window open, listening to the power working, and waving at people when they wave with more than one finger. Facilities. A glorified janitor. The position has morphed. I started by cleaning floors and toilets. Now so many of my creative strengths are used. We're updating our campus, so we build furniture, construct new walls and stages, choose paint colors, engineer unique solutions for an aging campus, and so much more. I've learned electrical, concrete work, welding, sound engineering, drywall, installation of floors, ceilings, doors, stage, backdrops, you name it. If something needs to be done, we get it done. I love it. Facilities manager here. You are right about the job morphing. Just remember the facilities motto: the last to know, the first to blame. Been doing it for 30 years, 17 at GT in Atlanta. I can retire in 8 months. Before the pandemic shut everything down, I was a Broadway dresser. I got to work backstage on some awesome shows with pretty costumes and be a part of the magic. It was such a rewarding feeling. I'm a meteorologist. I look at weather all around the world and work directly with Fortune 500 companies to help them prepare for natural disasters. Considering I've wanted to be a meteorologist since I was 5, it's a dream come true, and I feel blessed. I too dreamed of being a meteorologist as a child through high school graduation. Everyone that knew me was aware of my passion for weather. However, as I planned to enroll in college, I became aware of the required advanced math classes. Totally tanked me. Couldn't hack the math, so I had to walk away. Join the medical profession, lol. Still absolutely love following the weather. I get calls and texts from family/friends throughout storm season. I live in Oklahoma. Asking for my thoughts. Kudos for making it. Best wishes and blessings. Public library. Everything is free. I don't have to sell anything. People come in because they want to be there. I get to help people who want to be helped and provide an environment where they can chill and relax. They only owe money when stuff is late. I'm a social worker. Currently, I work with seniors who live alone with a disability and have no family to take care of them. I plan on getting my master's and becoming a therapist. After working construction for 8 years and getting a degree in business, I said fuck it and followed my passion, regardless of what everybody said in my life. I am so fucking glad that I made that decision. It was really hard to get myself into the mindset that it's not too late. Once I was there though, I wasn't leaving. I put my foot down and I was determined. Went to community college, got 12 credits, working an entry-level social work job, and will be applying for my master's once this shit show of a pandemic is over. Or maybe when I cave and decide to do online classes. Either way, I feel like I'm living my dream, even though I'm not nearly where I want to be. Yet. I work at doggy daycare. I left vet teaching after 12 years for something less stressful. Interesting. I work in technology and I was considering becoming a vet tech because I love animals and want to work with them one day. However, I've heard it is stressful. Could you elaborate? Freelance illustrator and graphic designer. I've always liked the idea of making things that are useful to people in any way, and I always try to apply this mentality into my work. Not to mention that stimulating my creativity is something I've always enjoyed, and something this line of work requires on a constant basis. Of course, creative blocks are an issue occasionally, but it's still something I truly enjoy. I'm currently a factory worker, making sheet metal roofing and siding. It's one of the easiest jobs I've ever had. The work is relatively repetitive, but there's enough variation to keep it from getting boring. The people I work with are kind and funny, management actively gives a shit about us, and the benefits are fantastic. I love working manual labor. I could never have a desk job. I'm an agricultural technician. I love doing what I do. I have good benefits, a retirement that's slowly taking off, and make enough to put some away every 2 weeks. Some days, I'm not that into it, but most days are pretty awesome. I've learned a lot about working on small engines and lawnmowers. Some days, I help other units with their work. We've been helping our beef unit for a couple weeks now. I drive tractors that cost more than any car I've ever been in. And I don't have anyone breathing down my neck about what I'm doing. It's been great for the last 3 years. Also, I have a class, a CDL, so when harvest comes, I have the easiest job at the entire research facility. If you find something you like, stick with it, as long as it's a viable job for where you are and what you want from life. For anyone who didn't know what an AG tech is, I'm a farmer, and it's the best job I've had in my life. I work for the National Park Service. I started off seasonal and got to visit 6 different national parks, getting paid to live people's vacation and be in the most beautiful places. Now I am settled permanently on the National Mall, where I get to work with special events, getting to see firsthand all the amazing events that go on in Washington, D.C., and be a part of it all. I'm a medical specialized interpreter, and also general one. I like it that much that I'm mastering 2 other languages at the same time, Italian and French, to be an interpreter English, Italian, Spanish, French. I work in a hospital and use medical interpreters all the time. Thank you for all you do. A great interpreter makes a huge difference in patient communication. E-discovery. We help people deal with data and fact-finding in litigation and investigations. It's extremely stressful, but every day is different. Every day is a new challenge. You have to constantly be learning and growing. The moment someone comes up with a new chat system, or file system, or collaborating system, you immediately have to understand how it works and how to forensically grab the data quickly. You have to know technology, law, statistics, and how to argue a lot. It's one of those businesses that have a steep learning curve that never really stops going up. I'm a loss prevention person at Burlington. All I do is stand at the door, wipe off carts, and say hi and bye to people coming in and out. Easiest job in the world. Most of my coworkers hate me for the job. I'm a security guard, and I can second that. It's super chill, easy AF. I have had people try to come down on me because they're jealous that I make more money than they do, and they have to bust their ass. Physics and optics research. I have a massive selection of lenses, mirrors, and light sources, and I use them to measure non-uniform, diffractive gratings. They basically just make a rainbow. It's like a big Lego set with no instructions, and I don't really know what I'm looking for. But today my boss told me having a lot of good ideas is better than knowing something for certain. Love that shit. Hairstylist. I chose this career instead of pursuing a career with my college degree. It allows me to be creative, work in a social environment, I can wear whatever I want, and I get to help people feel good about themselves when they look in the mirror. Architecture during quarantine. I was doing 60 to 90 plus hours a week. The only thing holding me was my passion for the profession. How do you get into architecture? And in terms of success/reality, is the profession more aching to an art field where the few very, very best succeed and the rest kind of flounder, i.e. high and low outliers? Or say engineering, where people tend more towards the average, but the average is pretty high. I've always wanted to do this career, but told it's fairly risky. You just need to be gifted. Server/bartender. IDK, everyone sees it as something they want to get out of. I could see the wisdom in getting a career in a growing and stable field, but I honestly enjoy it. The craziness, the good guests, the bad guests, people having fun and being super inappropriate, people being pissed off for something that really doesn't matter. It's a lot of fun. And for the most part, you're in control over how much money you make. Even if I find a big boy job, I'd still try and work some shifts at a bar or restaurant, pay for groceries/gas, and have fun doing it. I'm a data analyst. I set up and maintain a large amount of data flowing into a database and process it so that it's usable within BI tools and for machine learning projects. Then, after it's in a good format, I use BI tools to make cool visualizations so that a few couple hundred users who want different things from this data can all go in and be able to find what they need efficiently. Sometimes I also get to do some machine learning projects. I teach history and government at a small rural high school. My students are extremely polite and respectful. It's not often the younger generation calls their elders sir. I love what I teach, and I get along with all of my coworkers. I'm a sales executive for a utility company. It's a job that most people would imagine would be soul-crushing, but I genuinely enjoy it. That's not to say it doesn't have its bad moments, but it's mostly pretty fun. Plus, it's a relatively well-paid job in a very recession-proof industry, so at the moment, I'm fucking grateful to have a stable job. As a rather solitary person who doesn't particularly like people trying to talk to me, I take a perverse satisfaction in a job where I spend my day trying to talk to people who don't want to talk to me. I teach college, and I love it so much. I get paid well to conduct daily TED Talks on topics I love discussing. I also love public speaking, and these students pay thousands to listen to me tell stories. I also show an episode of The Office during class, which is my favorite show. It also feels great to ask a student for a meeting and ask them how you can help their mental load, and then giving them the things they need. It's like Oprah. Everyone gets an extension. I don't quite give them away, but when I can make a reasonable adjustment to help someone, I always do. I am constantly surprised I am paid for this gig. I direct an academic library. It's a small operation, so I get to do every task. I help with research queries. I help direct statewide purchasing strategies. Pre-COVID, we had a robust chess club, and we put out Girl Scout cookies year-round. For now, the library is closed due to COVID, so essentially I'm being paid to go back to grad school and develop my skill set. Also, I'm finishing a history book that uses originally researched biographies as a scaffold to explore how research is done. It's melding genealogy and how historiography with interdisciplinary contextual research. Publishers, hit me up. The how is just as important as the why, maybe more. So it's a good story, but I sneak a lot of instructions in there about skills, techniques, and critical thinking. I'm finishing the story of the whiniest sailor in the US Navy, currently, and it's a blast dealing with a person with such terrible character. Senior Clinical Research Associate, Oncology. I switch projects every few years and get to learn new indications very thoroughly. My background is molecular biology, and when I get the right projects, I really love what I do. Unfortunately, there is a ton of paperwork and regulation involved, and I spend a lot of time writing reports. I work on a pirate ship as a sailor/actor. It's super fun, if exhausting. I love my coworkers, and I've learned so much about sailing and life in general. Also have stripes of burnt skin on my arms, like leathery bacon from multiple 10-hour, 100-degree shifts. Wouldn't change it for the world. Writer/editor. I work from home and have 98% freedom to do things that way I like to get them done. I work when I want, which means I'm not desperately waiting for the last hour or work to be over. I can finally find work-life balance after many years being office-based. I'm a drug and alcohol recovery worker in a prison, and I love it. The biggest thing I've learned is that some of these men just never had the chance to succeed. So many were born into abusive, addicted families, so drugs and crime is all they've ever known. But many of them are so kind and funny, they just never got the right opportunities in life, which is where I come in. IV nurse in an infusion suite. People come in, I start an IV on them, run their med through, take the IV out at the end, and send them on their way. Once my chairs are full and everyone has their meds running, I sit around and chat, or just pick away at paperwork. Bosses are 45 minutes away in another town, and as long as the patients don't complain, none yet, they leave me alone to do my thing. Public defender. My job is incredibly frustrating and frequently rage-inducing, but sometimes, every once in a while, I get to touch someone's life in a good way. Those moments make it all worthwhile. I'm a nurse that currently oversees a geriatric memory care unit, but my passion is special needs, and geriatrics, the elderly. I love nothing more than making people who have special needs or memory care disabilities happy and feel better. It fills my heart/emotional battery more than it drains it. Their smiles, their laughs, their brief moments of lucidity and joy, and what memories make them feel happy again. I would gladly dodge punches, scratches, verbal aggression out of fear and confusion every day for those fleeting but brightly burning moments of happiness in their lives. I'm an oyster farmer right now. Early mornings like 3 a.m. through 6 a.m., 7 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. But you get out hanging baskets, lifting lines. I get to see the sun rise over my bay in town 5 days a week. Lifting lines, you could see the oysters opening and closing, and you're reminded that you're helping millions of these little guys grow. Some days the harbor is like glass. I've seen a pod of dolphins swimming along the boat just under the surface of the water, less than 20 centimeters from my hand. Sea lion, starfish chilling out, jelly boys. That combined with a good crew makes the early mornings worth it. Though some days there's wind, there's rain, the tide's up, so you're swimming whilst trying to hang baskets or throw baskets, which is surprisingly difficult. Treading water with your feet and holding 5 through 10 kilogram baskets above your head and throwing them 5 to 10 feet, it's a really good job. Corporate accounting. I love working with numbers and with Excel, so the job is a natural fit for me. Also, being work from home since March has made the job even better. I can wake up 5 minutes before work starts and never be late. The job I loved. Retail at an adult store. On an almost daily basis, I could be helping an 18-year-old just start the discovery of what they wanted to helping a 70-year-old grandma find something to stave off the effects of menopause. Side, not the grandmas were always the best. No shame, no fears, and would flirt and joke with us constantly. I served 10 years in the military, and that one job selling sex toys, I probably did more to help that community than in the 10 years in uniform ever truly helped them as individuals. I worked on the railway as a customer host. Basically, I'm part of the onboard catering/customer service team. Basically, I'm belting up and down the country at 125 miles per hour, serving people food and drinks, and getting to see the best parts of the countryside fly by. I work with female indigenous youth on an island a ferry ride away from my home. We paint, do crafts, go for walks and talks. Today I picked berries and painted in a grassy field and found baby crabs on the beach. I drive around and fix machines. I love what I do. I have freedom. I'm not trapped in an office anymore. I don't deal with customers. I get to deal with mechanics, electronics, and I can be in one town all day. Drive across a major metroplex. Hell, I get to go out of state now and then. I'm not paid badly, but I'm home when my significant other and kids need me there. I'm a tattoo artist, still technically an apprentice. I love using my talents to make people happy and look badass. For those who are wondering the common question, what is my weirdest tattoo? Well, I'd have to say they were all pretty normal. I did cover up a prison tattoo that was done with a needle and graphite melted in water, so that was a thing. Clinical psychologist, working with patients suffering from CPTSD, PTSD, and other trauma-related difficulties. Every day is different, and helping people through hard times is honestly never boring. In fact, it gets better the more I grow in my profession. When nothing has happened that needs my direct attention, working on basic positive mental skills and practicing self-compassion with my patients is also equally rewarding, or as a break from the heavier stuff. Mother-baby nurse. I love watching a new family form. Those first couple days are so magical and vulnerable. I feel so humbled to be there and to help where I can. I feel so lucky to have found my place, to know this is where I want to be until I retire.